If you're a nurse, you already know the deal. The charting, the documentation, it's more than just a chore, right? It's the thing that keeps you late, the thing that stands between you and your patients and you and your life outside of work. But what if I told you there's a blueprint to get that time back? Today, we're going to break down how you can build an AI-assisted practice that gets you home on time every single shift. All right, let's get into it.
Before we dig into the how-to, let's just start with the endgame. Take a look at this. This is a real quote from a real nurse just 3 months in. And that's what we're talking about here. This isn't about some little tiny workflow hack. The whole point is to fundamentally change your day for the better.
So what does that new and improved shift actually feel like? Let's paint that after picture. Imagine going from constantly feeling like you're drowning in tasks to being calm, in control, and efficient. That's the vision we're aiming for. Okay, this slide really says it all, doesn't it? That before column on the left, does any of that sound familiar? Staying late, skipping your breaks, that constant pit in your stomach about the charting you still have to do. Now, look at the right. This is the promise. Leaving on time, actually taking a break, and having solid professional notes done before you even think about handoff. It's a completely different world.
Let's talk about some actual numbers here. Picture the end of your shift. You know, that frantic hour-long scramble. Now, imagine taking your messy notes for 5 patients, plugging them into one really good prompt, and getting back clean, comprehensive summaries in just 15 minutes. Let that sink in. 15.
That means the whole shebang, all your end-of-shift documentation, getting ready for handoff. All of it can be done and dusted in 30 minutes, flat. And listen, this isn't some fantasy number. It's a totally achievable goal when you have a structured AI workflow. 30 minutes, and you are done.
And this is why it matters. This is the whole point. The real win isn't just about faster paperwork. It's about this moment right here. Walking out that door when you're supposed to. Getting your evenings back. And feeling like you actually accomplished something, instead of just feeling totally wiped out.
So that's the goal, and it sounds pretty great. But let's be real for a second. Getting there starts from a place that probably feels very familiar. And it starts with a healthy dose of skepticism. And you know what? That's totally normal.
Because on day one, when you try this, you might save, 4 minutes on a single note? It can feel pretty insignificant, almost silly. And it leads you to ask this perfectly reasonable question: is learning this whole new system really worth it for just 4 minutes?
And the answer is a huge, resounding yes. But, and this is a big but, only if you follow a plan. You don't just magically go from saving 4 minutes to saving 2 hours. You get there by following a clear, step-by-step blueprint.
And this is that blueprint. It's a 12-week journey, and we've broken it down into 3 simple phases. First, you just build the foundation. Then, you start weaving it into your daily routine. And finally, you become a total pro, tweaking and optimizing it so it works perfectly for you.
Those first 2 weeks are absolutely crucial. It's all about setting yourself up for success. It just boils down to 3 simple things. First, pick your tool. Something like ChatGPT Plus or Claude Pro is a great place to start. Second, come up with a super simple way to organize your prompts. And third, build out your first 10 core prompts for the stuff you do all the time. And here's a perfect example of what that organization can look like. See? Dead simple. A folder for daily charting, one for meds, another for care plans. You get the idea. This little bit of setup at the beginning isn't about being tidy, it's about being fast. This is the framework that lets you fly later on.
Okay, let's go ahead and tackle the big hurdles. Because as you start doing this, you're going to have questions. You're going to have some real concerns. And building trust in a new tool, especially one like this, is a huge part of the process.
This is always the first question, and it's the most important one. Can I really trust what this thing spits out? And the answer is simple. The AI is your co-pilot. You are the pilot. It just generates a draft. You, with your clinical expertise and your license, are always in charge. You verify, you edit, and you approve every single word.
All right, another big one. My hospital would never go for this. And that's a very real concern. The key here is to be smart. You never, ever, ever put patient names or any identifying information into the AI. You use de-identified data. Think room numbers, diagnosis, that's it. You're just using a private drafting tool, which keeps you 100% HIPAA compliant.
And then there's that little feeling of, I don't know, doesn't this kind of feel like cheating? So let me ask you this. Is using a calculator for a tricky med calculation cheating? Of course not. It's an efficiency tool.
And that's exactly what this is. It handles the boring, mechanical writing part so your brain can focus on what really matters, your clinical judgment. So why are we even talking about all this? Because this whole transformation, it's about way more than just one nurse saving a little time. When you zoom out, you realize this skill could have a massive impact on the future of our entire profession.
I mean, just look at this number. It's staggering. 63% of nurses are reporting symptoms of burnout. And one of the top reasons they cite again and again is the massive burden of documentation. This isn't just a challenge, folks. It's a full-blown crisis.
But when you start to claw back an hour or two every single shift, that time gets reinvested. It goes back into better patient care, it goes back into having a real work-life balance, and ultimately, it makes nursing a career you can actually sustain for the long haul.
And that's the real takeaway here. The goal isn't just to be faster. The goal is to build a way of practicing that lets you thrive in this incredibly tough job. This is a tool that's all about career longevity.
So, I'll just leave you with this one last thought. Forget about the technology for a second. Just ask yourself this one simple question. If somebody handed you back one extra hour every single day you worked, what would you do with it? What would that really mean for you, for your family, and for your patients?